Hey guys, MD Prepper here. Another gun review, this time on my new latest favorite carry gun, the Kahr CM9. Now the CM9 has not been out all that long, I think about a year or so, and I like it a lot. I've been looking for a slightly larger, more powerful, everyday carry deep concealment gun for quite a while, and with the new advent of the better options in 9mm, I thought it was time to upgrade from my standard little 32s and 380s, and have done so in this Kahr CM9. I looked around for quite a while, looked at a lot of options, a lot of smaller 9mm pocket guns out there, the Kel-Tec PF9, and just a lot of other options out there. Looked at those, the Beretta Nano, etc., and the one that struck me as just the best fit and finish and felt best in my hand was this Kahr. Hands down, when I finally got my hands on it, I had trouble finding them for a while, but when I found them at a local gun show, the Kahr CM9 won hands down. I have handled since the Smith & Wesson Shield. I still like this better. For my purposes, for concealed carry and all of that. Now I do tend to carry a fair amount on my hip and all. That's fine, but I tend to carry in my pocket more. I used to carry Kel-Tec 32s, Diamondback 380 being the one that I've carried the most here recently as my standard carry gun, but that one's had probably the shortest carry life of any gun I had because I've got this now, and I like this a lot better overall for its capacity and caliber, etc. for my needs and the way I dress and carry. So your personal experiences may vary, but for the price, for the size, for the trigger pull, and just the general well-made quality of this Kahr CM9, I thought it was excellent. Now let me go ahead and say, a lot of people are going to ask about the Kahr PM9. The PM9 is a much more expensive firearm. This is the budget model, frankly. This was a way to save cost and, you know, cut down and sell more handguns. This one ran me about $400. I think it was $385, $390, something like that, looking around at the best dealer I could find. So that's a steal in my opinion. The MSRP is around $500, but you know, less than $400 was a steal. I just couldn't pass that up. The PM9, which has probably a better match grade barrel on it than this one, better stamping on the top here, better lettering and whatnot, about the same trigger pull overall. Looks about the same in dimensions. I believe they take exactly the same magazines, but this one's about $250 cheaper, give or take. Only comes with one magazine, which is a cost-cutting measure, but, you know, I bought more magazines, of course. Whatever. However you want to sell your pistols. Let's talk about stats on this. The magazine is 6+1, so 6 in the mag and 1 in the pipe, which is pretty much exactly the same as most of your little 380s. So, equal number of rounds and a much better caliber. So that's a big plus right there. These magazines do not have the finger extension on the bottom. They do make those now for this pistol. I need to order those because I think that would be a tremendous advantage overall, but I hadn't gotten around to it. But we'll do so, and we'll probably do an update video when I do that. The barrel is 3 inches. That's kind of your standard Browning locking action, whatnot. Striker fired on this one. Double action only. It is 4 inches in height here, so that's not excessive overall. It's 5.42 inches long, so again, a little bit longer than your little 380s, but not too much. I think it's worth the compromise of a longer barrel and bigger, better gun. And it is 0.9 inches wide, so not a full inch wide. And when it comes to width, width does matter. I believe my Glock 26 is 1 inch wide, and there's a tremendous difference in pocket carry with that 1/10 of an inch, frankly. That Glock is just too big, too bulky with that double stack magazine. The single stack mag, much better overall for concealed carry, hence the reason everybody's going to it. Obviously, polymer frame, cuts down on weight, reasonably durable. You know, very much similar to a Glock if you look at the fit, finish, and design style of this pistol overall, except for the double action only trigger. You know, Kahrs, in my opinion, are very similar to Glocks. You may disagree, but what have you. The pistol itself is 14 ounces. The mag is 1.9 ounces, so we're looking at a 16-ounce pistol, so 1 pound, not counting the little bit of ammo in it, added weight. 1 pound is fine. Now, is this notably heavier and notably more noticeable than my Diamondback right here, or my Kel-Tec? Yes, it is. Those little Kel-Tecs, you never think you got them on you. You forget about them. They're so lightweight. But you get what you pay for. You have small, compact, lightweight. Well, your shootability goes down. It's harder to get on target. It's harder to get a good, accurate shot. And recoil for follow-up shots is more excessive. So I like this as a good middle ground option when I can't carry a compact size pistol or a full size, and especially for something for pocket carry. Personally, I find pocket carry the way to go. If you're carrying, or if you're wearing rather, blue jeans or something like that, this is probably not the pistol for you. Probably go for something smaller. But I wear khakis a lot and my big heavy cargo pants with lots of pockets and whatnot. For my way that I dress and walk around town, this is perfectly fine. You know, big nice pockets on my khakis and all. This is going to fit just fine, no problems. Is it heavier? Yes, it is. You notice this a little more, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like I'm getting a lot more caliber out of this, and a lot better protection, reliability, etc. You know, Kahrs are great guns. I've had no failures to fire with this. I have fired somewhere in the range of 300 to 350 rounds through this. The first 200 were just standard ball to break it in. Worked fine. No problems at all. There was one episode, which I don't necessarily consider a failure to fire, because I accidentally hit the slide release when I was firing. That was in the first probably 20 or 30 rounds I fired. I'm not used to having a slide release on a little pocket carry gun, so I fixed that. That was style and form on my part, so my mistake. No issues since then. Fired perfectly fine with hollow points, etc. after I had the 200 round break-in period. So the trigger on this is a very, very smooth double action. For a factory double action, it's probably one of the best ones I've ever fired, if not the best that I can think of. Let me safety check this right there. Nothing in there. Nicely polished internal feed ramp, which I'm sure you cannot see. Your sights, a little different than some folks are used to. You've got a single white dot on the back and a single white dot on the front. Some people don't like that, but for a gun that is this small and compact, you don't need the big 3-point sights, 2 on the rear, 1 on the front. You know, you're going to pay for inaccuracy with this anyway. This is an up close and personal gun, so I don't worry about that so much. Nice serrations on this thing, easy cock back. Slide release sticks out a decent amount, but not so much to interfere. It's with drawing and whatnot, so smooth there. That releases just fine, no problems at all. No problems to extract or anything like that. Like I say, about a pound for the entire gun here, not including ammo. It's hefty, but it handles recoil well. It allows you to get on target and fire better. The heavier the gun, the easier it is to shoot. So I think this is a good compromise compared to your compact guns out there or your little pocket rockets. So anyway, got some stippling here on the sides, built-in, not exchangeable grips or anything like that. Checkering on the front there, which I'm doubting you can see. There you go. Exactly same on the back. Very decent. No problems with that. Let's talk about trigger pull. Trigger pull is about roughly 6.5 pounds from what I've read and felt, and I would agree that's what it is. I have not tested this myself, but it is very smooth. As I showed before, safety check. Trigger pull, nice and smooth. Very consistent. Not gritty at all, nothing like that. Just very smooth, steady. Let me see if I can show you this with my offhand. You can stage this trigger if you want to. I wouldn't recommend that for a little carry gun because you're going to pull this thing out and need to shoot it in a hurry. But you can easily pull this thing back, wait till you're close, you know when it's going to break, and there you go. So major improvement there compared to a lot of your guns in the double action. So you can see right there how easily I can play with that and then get it to go off as I want it to. Again, hopefully you can see that. There's your take up, double action every single time. But in the smoothness, nice and smooth every time. That is me using left-handed, offhand at a weird angle. That would stay on target and do just fine. I'm not going to go into the breakdown of this pistol right now. Breaks down fairly easily, cleans easily. If you broke it down and cleaned Glock, you'll recognize it. Very simple. No problems there. Like I said, fits the hand real well. This is the single stack little 9mm that Glock should have made a long time ago. Recoil guide rod is all steel, unlike your little Glock 26s, which are plastic, so that's a tremendous improvement, especially for the $400 price. And finally, let me go ahead and talk about comparing this to your little 380s. I know there's a big 380 craze, of which I'm an adherent of. I like the little 380s, but 9 is a better round. It just is. Especially with the same capacity and a little bit bigger barrel and a little heft, this is a much sweeter shooter than this little Diamondback. Like I've done in my previous videos, I've said that the Diamondback was a favorite of mine for a small, lightweight pocket gun. It still is. There are times when I'm wearing blue jeans and whatnot that this Kahr is just a little too big, too bulky, and this slightly smaller handgun is a better option. Still like my Diamondback, love it a lot, like my Kel-Tec, no problems. This is my favorite though. Let's show you here on the top. The width is almost identical. Slightly, ever so slightly wider on the Kahr. Might be harder to tell with the black versus the stainless, but maybe you can see that there. Maybe you can't. Almost negligible width differences. Little bit wider here. Length of the gun. Let's put barrel to barrel here at the front end. Hopefully you can see that right there. Let's see if I can pull this up on the camera so you can see it. Less than a ½ inch longer, especially if you count that little beaver tail. It's almost nothing in the length of the firearm. That little space there is nothing. You got more gun up here, but still, it's length. Distance on the bottom, very negligible. Probably the difference, I don't know how long that's going to be, but it's nothing, okay? Especially with this extended grip here, they're almost the same. Probably can't see that there, but that's negligible, okay, on the width. Front side, trigger's a little bit different. I will probably do an actual comparison video between my little pocket guns and this one, the Kahr, at some point, just so you guys can see it. But the biggest difference between these, caliber and weight. This one's heavier. You got a big slide up top. Here, you got a small slide. Otherwise, there's not a huge amount of difference. A little bit better if you're lightly clothed, you know, shorts and a t-shirt. Anything bigger than that, khakis, anything like that, cargo shorts or pants like I tend to wear all the time, this is the way to go. Now, it's obviously more expensive, but you get what you pay for, guys. Like I say, you notice the weight, but the weight's not a bad thing, rather, when you're shooting. Weight's good for carry. Well, low weight, rather, is good for carry. High weight is good for shooting. This thing is quite the tack driver at 7 yards. I don't have any targets with me to show you, but as long as you're taking your time and making your shots, I can hit everything inside the center bullseye on a human silhouette within 7 yards. Easy. No problems at all. Defensive shooting, again, also easy. Much better accuracy with this than this Diamondback here. The sights on this make the difference, I think, and the weight. So, hope you like that. I will be talking about my Diamondback probably next. Talking about the extended magazine on that and whatnot. But hope you like the Kahr CM9. There's a lot of other videos out there. The PM9 is definitely a superior firearm to this one. But for $250 more for a carry gun, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Though, honestly, I'll probably pick one up at some point. Anyway, MD Prepper out.